to Austin Saylor, and Austin Saylor is probably best known for his project 2000. If you don't know him already, he's a motion designer, and he set this really ambitious goal a few years ago, and that was to earn 200,000 in 1 year. And he smashed it, and he's done that 3 years in a row, and he started coaching and teaching other people how to get that. But today we're going to be talking to Austin about his new goal, which is even more ambitious, and he wants to earn 2 million in 2 years. So welcome, Austin.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be talking with you today.
Cool. I mean, so let's go straight into it. Why is 200K not enough? Tell us about what is this £2 million project?
That's a great question. So yeah, when I launched 200K, I was frustrated. So just a little background is that I was frustrated that I couldn't make more than 100K. I was like, I know that I have the skills, I can get there, but like I'm trying too many things. And I was like running an animation class and a membership and a cohort to help people finish personal projects and freelancing. So at any point, I had never made more than like 70K with freelance. And I told my wife, I was like, I think if I stop doing all this other stuff and just focus on freelance, I think I could like make 200,000. I don't know. Feels crazy. And she's like, go for it. I love it. So that was kind of the birth of Project 200K. And yeah, after hitting that 3 times and starting to coach people, I love teaching. I've been kind of some version of a teacher for as long as I've been doing work, whether that's like juniors or blogging or doing workshops. It's a passion of mine. And yeah, Project 2 Million came about because as I was switching from fully freelancing and coaching on the side, and I was like, I want to actually just coach full time. I was like, I bet I could replace my income, my freelance income, with coaching income. And for some reason, that just was not the kind of motivation I needed. I thrive on big goals, and just changing career and keeping the same income, I don't know, fell flat for me. It wasn't exciting. And so I actually floundered a lot this year. If you looked at my camera roll this year, you'd be like, wow, you did some cool stuff, but it was really rough because we lost our soul dog at the beginning of the year. And so grief and depression kicked in, and then a lot of self-doubt. And yeah, I kind of needed a reset. And so I got inspired to set a really big, impossible goal, like a BHAG on steroids. And so the idea was set an impossible goal in an impossible amount of time. And at first I was like, Project 1 million, that sounds crazy, but I think I could maybe do it. And I thought I knew how, but if I did it that way, I knew that I would be building a job that I hate because I'd be working 24/7. And I was like, okay, to make 2 million from coaching, I cannot do the same. I can't work enough hours to make that much money. So I'll have to think differently. And so it's a forcing function of how can I build a business that generates that kind of income? And I'll have to build some kind of team. And I just have bigger dreams. And I know that with more income, I can do bigger things. So that's the birth of Project 2 Million.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I thought like maybe someone had just said to you, hey, Austin, what happened if you 10x your goals? And you was like, 200,000? That'd be 2 million.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting like what you say, because if you had set that 1 million goal, you've recognized this in yourself already. If you'd set that 1 million goal, then you could just work all the hours under the sun and you could burn yourself out. But actually to reach that 2 million goal, you have to, there's just not enough hours. Mathematically, it doesn't work. So you have to change what you do and work differently.
Yep, exactly.
So like, how granular have you got with this 2 million? Like, have you sat down and been like, right, if I need to do that, I imagine that's probably not going to come from one revenue stream. Like there might be different things, different ways you earn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, the kind of the meta strategy at first has been the same way that I've approached every big goal. Like when I left my job to go freelance, I really leaned heavily on my network. I was like, I'm going to go all in on connecting with as many people as I've become friends with on Twitter, on Instagram, inside of the School of Motion community, and all these Discords and Slacks. So I was like, oh, I need to go connect with the people. I think they will have answers, they will have connections, and that served me well leaving my full-time job to go freelance. It served me well when I wanted to do Project 200K. I was like, oh, what's worked for me in the past? Make all the connections. Connections have been, every door of opportunity is opened by a person. I need to go meet the people. And so that's been my kind of starting point. Let's say if I'm at the beginning of the race and the gun goes off, my first move is go find the people. And so by announcing my goal publicly, it allows me to go, cool, like who are the people that are coming to me to say, I want to talk with you. I've built a $2 million company, or here's an idea I have, or here's something I'm building that might be helpful for your clients. And so that's been my first move, is not necessarily get so granular, because I think whatever I'm doing today will look different 2 years from now. And I'm okay with having the goal, but not knowing how I'm going to get there. And so even when I did Project 200K, I thought, cool, that's my goal, is to make $200,000 by the end of the year with freelance. In my mind, I thought I was going to be going direct to client, but it ended up that I raised my rates and studios were cool with it. And I got a lot of day rates, and I made most of my money from day rate work with animation studios, which was surprising to me. But I was like, I'm not looking for 200,000 from a specific source. I just want to see if it's possible. And I was accepting of the path that, formed in front of me. So I feel the same way with Project 2 Million. If there was a gun to my head, I would spout out something, but I don't know if it's what would actually happen. I think there will be multiple revenue sources. I will probably do some version of a more mass audience program and something that's more boutique and small group. And there will be different price points, or maybe there will be one-on-one coaching. There's going to be some different variations and tests that I try out. My goal is to get to the place where the business is making 2 million a year. And it's funny. It feels like it goes without saying in my mind, but I'm in my own head, so it makes sense. But I want to do that by providing so much ridiculous value to other people that like if I make 2 million, I want freelancers to be adding 20 million, collective dollars to their income. Yeah, that's always been my ethos with a project. With the coaching thing is, can I provide 10 times the value that I'm charging, so that it feels A, like a no-brainer, and B, no one leaves going, it wasn't really worth it.
Quick clarifying question. So the actual goal, is this to earn 2 million over the next 2 years, or is this to get to a company that has revenue of 2 million in?
That's a good question. Yeah, the very specific goal is for July 2020. What is this? 2028 to be it's funny, when I posted my first post about my goal, I said 172,000. I wanted that month to be $172,000 a month. And I was like, oh, I did the math wrong. It's like 166,600. It's like 1-6 repeating. But yeah, basically to have a $2 million company that's generating 2 million a year. And so it could be that I don't make a ton of money in the first year, and then I figure some things out in the second year, does really well, and it gets to that point. So
that's often the way it goes, isn't it? We like to think that, progress is linear, but it's often like, absolutely nothing's happening. You're like in crisis mode, and then something peaks, and then you kind of plateau, and then you step up again, and it's the way the reality works.
That's so true. And I did Project 200K. My first month, I made $0. That was a 1-year goal, so I was like, all right, good start. And so, yeah, I haven't, just because I announced a goal doesn't mean I've made more money. It's what I'm building towards.
That's an interesting thing. Obviously, I guess, where did the confidence come from you to say this publicly? Because there's big step between 200K and 10x in that.
Yep.
So
I mean,
where does that come from?
Announcing 200K felt crazy. It's like I knew from data that some people made $200,000, but like I had never seen that kind of money before, and so to announce it felt crazy. But I don't know what it is inside of me. I just started a Substack where I'm sharing a lot of details about my scaling to 2 million, and one of the first things I wrote in this, or my first article, was, why am I broken like this? Like, what's wrong with me? Why do I need to have this crazy goal and announce it publicly to feel like that motivation, that push to do the thing that I already know I want to do? And I don't know why I'm that way, but I'm trying to lean into it and not be mean about it to myself. If someone else told me that was what they needed, I'd be like, cool, you figured it out. But for some reason I've been, mean to myself. Like, why do I need this? So I don't know the answer to it. I don't know why, but it does help me. And yeah, I've just decided, like, for some reason I'm okay being transparent. For some reason, this is the kind of courage I have. I'm not courageous or brave in other areas of my life, but some people look at what I'm doing here and they're like, you're crazy. I could never do that.
I mean, we're really getting into the motivation. Like, you've found something, because I read this article and you go into it, you've found this thing that works for you. But I mean, I've lost my train of thought, sorry.
I do that all the time.
there was a question there. Oh yeah, we were talking about motivation, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like this this internal versus external motivation. Like, is it the fear of failure publicly that drives you? Like, what do you think it is?
I really don't know, because I've definitely announced some things publicly and then just dropped it. And I'm a funny bird or something, where it's hard to know exactly why certain things stick. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you've ever followed someone for a long time, and you kind of have an idea of what they do. Let's say they're like doing some web design and maybe some branding, and then all of a sudden one day you see their content and you're just like, something's different. They have something inside that's like, they're doing something now. It's, instead of just like trying to figure it out, like I can just feel it. I've never come up with a word for it, but there seems to be a flip where people get this like conviction that they can do it, that they're worth it, that they know what they're doing, even if they don't know what they're doing. And I think that's what Project 200K and Project 2 Million have given me. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever gone to a costume party where you wear a mask, you're wearing this whole outfit, you're a different person, and like you have more confidence. You get to like dance a little sillier or be a little more brave. That's what Project 200K and Project 2 Million have done for me. It goes, okay, I get to be the 200K freelancer, and I put on that mask and I get to behave that way. Just by setting the goal gave me confidence to charge more when I was a freelancer. I wasn't like, oh, I think I'm worth more. It was more like, would a $200,000 a year freelancer charge this little? I was like, no, they wouldn't make it. So that's my new rate. It's like, for some reason, I put on the mask and was like, cool, I'm a different person now. And so I get to act that way. And my wife keeps reminding me, if I'm working on stuff and she sees me commenting on LinkedIn posts and fiddling with my Notion databases, she's like, would a $2 million CEO be doing what you're doing today? I'm like, ooh, that's a good question. Probably not. And it's a good reminder that, like, cool, like, the identity matters. Like, what identity do you feel you have? Like, we all kind of have a natural, like, in your body who you are, but there's also the kind of person that you can be and that you want to be. And so I think these projects have helped me step into the identity that I want to be, and they've helped a ton.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, yeah, I mean, I was going to mention identity, and then you just brought that one up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a great way to change your behaviors when you like, I mean, we all want lots of different things, don't we? Like, we have these ambitions for ourselves, and most of the time we just never achieve them. But like, one of the core ways to make change is when you take on that identity, like you said, like, I'm the person that does this, so I have to behave that way, and
Yep.
and then it all flows.
Yep. I've even thought about this. So when I announced Project 200K, I got a little pushback from the creative community, mostly support, a little pushback. The pushback tended to be like, why are you so money focused? Can't you just be happy like doing work? And I don't know the answer to why I can't. But there's like, that just happens to be what I want. If what you want is, you know, a lot of balance and every evening off and only work 5 hours a day, cool. I hope you pursue that, but I don't think it's going to be easy. You know, like, everything that you want takes effort. Even if what you want is to not have to put in a ton of effort, there will be effort to get to the point where you have the clients that can support that kind of life. And if it comes to you easily, that's fantastic. But I think that no matter what you want, if it's worth pursuing, then it's worth, like, I don't want to say grinding it out, but like figuring it out.
I like to think of it as like, there's always suffering, right? You're going to suffer for your goals. You don't get to choose in life not to suffer. Like, you're going to, in one way or another. So you have to choose goals that you are willing to suffer for. And a lot of time, I think we just pick goals at random that are like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, like, I'd love £2 million. Like, who wouldn't? But is that something you're actually willing to suffer for?
Mhm.
Is kind of getting into that like internal, external motivation kind of like goals. And if we really dig into it, it's kind of values.
Mhm.
And I think it's interesting because your two big things, the last one and this one, have been money orientated.
Yep.
I've always assumed that is kind of like not a great goal to set, because it's an external motivation. Like, and there's this risk of like, you heard of the hedonic treadmill?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, yesterday's luxury becomes, you know, today's normal. So have you thought about that? Like, if you was to really look inside, is Austin just chasing more money, or is there a
Well,
deeper goal?
yeah. No, it's a great question. And I think about that a lot. You know, and even inside of my, you know, let's say 2021 was my first year that I aimed for 200K and actually got it. So I made like $206,000 that year. We moved to New York City, so we were able to afford living in one of the most expensive cities in the US. And we were able to eat out, get drinks, do some things in New York because everything there is expensive, and we were able to save some money. And that was the first time in my life we were able to get ahead in life with money. We always felt really behind. Like, oof, I hope that project, you know, that invoice gets paid soon. It's like 3 days late and I got bills to pay. So there was like always that stress. And so I'm of the belief that money solves money problems. Money does not solve anything else. And when you make under certain amounts, money problems exist. And there will always be people who go, you could survive on less. And it's true. But like, I can look at people that make 500,000 and be like, why can't you just be happy with that? But like, also someone could look at someone who's making 100,000 and say, hey, I live on 50. Why do you need more? So there is no perfect line. And even in the years of making more money, I've also had years in between where I was building my coaching program and made way less. And so it's not like my income has just gone up and up and up. And so, yeah, I've both lived the like kind of downsizing life, and the whole like, okay, we're making more, we're spending more. One of me and my wife's goals is that we have like a couple of retirement goals. So like, if we hit, shoot, I'm transparent, I'll talk about it. If we hit $2 million in investments, that's like our kind of minimum easy, like we could retire. Or, you know, in my mind, retirement is not necessarily quitting work. It's more like what I have in investments, could I live off of the interest on those investments and pulling like 4% a year and survive relatively comfortable? And if I have that much money, which to us 2 million is like a nice easy number to go, cool, we could definitely live on that. It would be a little bit less of a lifestyle than we have right now. So anyways, but I don't plan on like just stop working because I enjoy building things. So 2 million is like the low number. 5 million is the like kind of medium. 10 would be the high. 10 feels crazy. Even if I'm like running a $2 million business, I'm going to have more expenses and employees or contractors, and it would still take years to build that much up. Unless, I think I posted on LinkedIn today, if I have a long lost great Aunt Elma who passes away and, gives me $10 million, like, we'll see. But anyway, so we're aiming towards retirement, not necessarily like big spending lifestyle. And it's so funny. Sorry, I'm going on these like little longer answers. I don't know how to give short answers.
It's good.
But there's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the like websites or something. It's a really interesting website that shows kind of the difference of multimillionaires, 100 millionaires, and billionaires and 100 billionaires. And there's like a side scrolling website that shows like every block is $1,000, and it's just like tons of blocks. And eventually you get out to be like, this is, $1 million. And then you keep scrolling and scrolling forever. And it's like, there's, $40 million. And this is how much this, actor has. And then you scroll. It's like Beyonce has like $800 million, and, the value of these people. And it's like unbelievable how far you have to scroll to get to like a billion. And that's just 1 billion. And then you have the people who have 238 billion, or Elon Musk who has $1 trillion. It's like unbelievably hard to comprehend the scale of that kind of thing. I think it's really easy for us to go like eat the rich, but then not understand that like having $2 million is actually not rich. I mean, it's not rich, but it's not anything compared to anything. Like the actor who has a $40 million net worth, you're closer to in wealth to that person than you are to even a billionaire. It's just like the scale of things is wild. And so even when I started making 200,000, I started making 200,000 when inflation was going up. And so to me, 200,000 is the new 100,000. Like, we just didn't really feel a whole lot of pain from inflation because we just happened to be making more money as things got more expensive. And so I feel like it's helpful. Like, making more money is helpful. Anyways, that was such a long answer that I'll stop talking about it. So
No,
I thought about it a lot. And yes, I also think that, like, sorry, last thought on it. I know I keep saying last thought. I was telling somebody recently, it was my wife. Anyways, someone was asking me some similar question, like about money. And even though that's something that I put out there as my public goal and stuff, I don't think about money very much. My wife loves like accounting and bookkeeping and all this stuff. So I don't spend that much. I don't really always know. I'm not super in the know of like all the details of our money. She gives me updates and we look at things, but yeah, I don't think about money very often. Ironically.
It's interesting. Like, I mean, some people have a real problem with like money mindset. Like, they're like embarrassed to have ambitious goals or even admit that they earn a decent wage.
Mhm. I feel like that's a status kind of thing, because there's somebody said something about like everything we purchase is for status. And I don't think that's a universal truth, but he was trying to make a point. And he was talking to someone who is a multimillionaire, and the wife was like, I don't believe that. I don't drive a Lamborghini. I drive a minivan. And he was like, who are your friends? She's like, a bunch of moms. Like, I'm friends with mothers, blah, blah, blah. And he said, like, if you bought a Lamborghini, what would your moms think if you were driving your kid to soccer practice in a Lamborghini? He's like, they would judge me. Like, yeah, you bought the minivan to fit in with the friends that you have. That's status. Status doesn't always mean I want people to think I'm better. It just means that you want to fit in. And so I think that there is sometimes that creative culture that's like the starving artist, or the everybody else is struggling, so it's bad if I don't. I want to fit in. I don't want people to judge me. And so I think there's part of that around the money stuff, and the wanting more.
I mean, your goals are obviously money, but like everything you spoke about is lifestyle, basically.
Mhm.
You know, you get to live in the place you want to do. You get to
Yep.
go for nice meals and do things. And you're thinking about kind of retirement, like the lifestyle you want to live in the future. So is there like, I mean, is there like a deeper underlying value that, you know, will make Austin happy?
I think that, I mean, it's funny. The more I try to pursue happiness, the fuzzier it gets. So to me, I try to stay busy with things that I love doing. And that is like, for me personally, what I've realized is I love golfing. I love talking with people, strangers on the internet, friends at a coffee shop, whoever. Like, I love talking with people. I love helping people. I love building things. And so there's the like, I get to do all of that. So I'm, even by just like having the goal that I have and building the career that I have, I'm already winning. Like, I'm already happy. I don't think that the money will make me happier, but I think the money will give me an opportunity to build things I can't build right now.
Yeah. You've mentioned coaching a few times. So do you see like the main revenue coming from coaching?
Yeah. Yep.
And like, is coaching something that you just naturally fell into? If you took courses on coaching?
I have had many coaches. I have considered taking coaching courses to be a better coach. If that makes sense. Like, I'd love to go do some like certification stuff. I feel like half of my coaching is therapy, which I am not a licensed therapist at all, but there's so many more issues of like, oh, it just feels so hard to put myself out there. And so we talk through those kind of things. And yeah, my sister-in-law is a therapist, so I talk to her a ton about the issues that my, my clients and members are dealing with. Yeah, it feels like it comes naturally. It's a natural extension of, I think in 2014, I started blogging, and it was kind of the like share what you're learning as you go. I knew that one day that I wanted to be writing a lot, to be sharing a lot, and to be helping people, and I just didn't know what form that would look like.
Do you have a coach now?
Yeah.
In what? Who's like because I know that you were in Jay Klaus's kind of network, and
Yeah, I'm in his membership called the Lab. That's one thing that's really helpful. So I'm surrounded by other people who have goals of supporting themselves with their own business. So like, they are all solopreneur, creative, content creators, all that kind of stuff. And I have a coach that I'm in his coaching program that's a split of group coaching and one-on-one. Like, right before this, I was on a call with him, and speaking true to myself, like to the way I am with my coaching clients, I came to him with, I felt really frustrated and stressed about selling my next cohort. I have that dreaded identity of like, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to come across as salesy. I have the same thing that creatives have. Like, I don't want, that's an icky feeling to me. And I want to have an impact on people. I know that my program works, so I want to sell. You have to find that balance of like, how do you put yourself out there in a way that attracts people to you, but also like, if I never do sales, I won't have a business. I won't hit my 2 million goal. Nothing moves forward. And so he helped me work through the psychology of like, what's stopping me, what's making me so fearful of having conversations with people. And I was like, I can talk to anybody all day long. As soon as I go, I have a program, there's something in my body that like tenses up and it's like, oh, don't hate me for saying this. And, and so like my coach helps me think through strategic measures as well as that, like, this is totally normal. It's totally normal to feel this way. Part of the problem is you haven't worked on your system. You don't have a system that you're working through that you trust works and that you trust that you'll feel good going through it. And so that's what we're working on right now.
Very interesting. I find a lot of coaches, obviously, they have their own coaches.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you didn't believe coaching worked, then, you are just a charlatan. No. So, like, I'm interested in, like, this, because I think you're really good. I think these projects, 200,000, 2 million, I think they make great titles as well. They've that, like, hook that you have to get good at content creation and media and all these kind of things. So I was interested in asking you, like, how much has been in that community? Like, Jay Clues is the one that I've heard about. How much has that helped your success? And is there anything that you what's a big lesson or a main takeaway that you learned from that you could share?
Yeah, there have been periods of my life where I don't have a coach or I don't have like a mentor group. And those periods of time are the ones where I feel the most lost. And I can tend to just like meander left and right and up and down and then just kind of not commit to things. And anytime I realize that I'm in that space, like, oh, I need to join something. I need to be in like intentional community around people who are going after something at least in a similar ambition level. And so like Jay's community has been super helpful for that. There's always the tactical, like, oh, here's how you can set up your LinkedIn profile or do this, thing in Kit newsletter sending thing, like automations or whatever. So like there's the tactical stuff, but then there's also just the, it's funny. It's been a little while since I haven't been in one of those. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember times when I'm by myself and I just feel way too floaty. That's not like the most like concrete thing. There was one thing when I was launching my first coaching program, I called it plus 25K, but I was going to call it like extra $25,000 or something like that. It was going to be like worded out that way. And Jay Klaus was like, why don't you just call it plus 25K? It's like, you can just put a little plus. It's just like, it's really short and condensed. And, so anyways, he helped me name my program and helped me think through. I was thinking about making it way longer. And he was like, you're going to lose people if you do it for like 18 weeks. And he was right. And I knew it, but it's like, it's helpful to go, no, 6 to 8 weeks is way more doable. People can have that attention span for that long, but further on, it's a little hard, so just a lot of like practical things with structuring how I work. But a lot of it really comes down to, I'm tired, I'm burnt out. Does anybody have any advice? I've neglected my newsletter. I've neglected LinkedIn. I've neglected something. I need like a pep talk. I'm giving my sister-in-law a pep talk today. We did like a 15-minute chunk a couple hours ago. She's going back to work after maternity leave. She's like, Austin, I know you're good at this. Can we sit down and chat? I need to like get in the right mindset. And so sometimes, it's that therapeutic, it's not therapy, but they're a therapeutic pep talk from somebody who's willing to listen and really hear what you're sitting in the moment, can just be that boost to keep going. And gosh, I'm just like full of these little tangents, but we keep going. I think I posted recently on LinkedIn about how I failed a couple weeks ago. And I was really down about it. But I know, and I've heard this from so many business people, and I feel it now that I've been doing this for a long enough time, that it's like most people burn out at some point and they just can't keep going. Like when they're trying to like build a business and you just get tired, like you get worn down and it's exhausting. You keep trying, and like things aren't happening. And it's almost the same way. That's the way everything happens. It's like you're an overnight success after you've worked at it for 15 years. And Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes, where I'm like, I'm actually really good at that. I have an ability to keep going even though things are hard. One of my best friends wrote an essay for me. I was like, "Hey, can you let me know what you think of me?" Like at a deep level, who am I? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And he was like, it was kind of a strength and a weakness in one. You know, the tale of Sisyphus rolling the boulder up the hill, and every night the boulder rolls back down. He has to start over again. He was like, "You're Sisyphus. You have the ability to push the boulder up the hill every day and start over the next day and keep pushing it up." You know, that's the weakness in there, is that like sometimes it feels like a loop and you're not making progress. So I'm trying to figure out how to, put a wedge in the mountain so that the ball doesn't roll down and not get to start from the middle of the mountain, not the bottom.
And that is the moral of the whole fable, though, that he can't escape that torture, and that
Mhm.
he finds his peace in the struggle. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah. I
That's why
mean,
it goes back to what you said, like, suffering is inevitable. You kinda choose it.
yeah.
So,
Wow, that sounds dark when you say it.
but I'd rather, it's true though, like, I would rather suffer trying to make 2,000,000 than suffer. I was suffering making way I've to be quite transparent, I have not made much money this year. Like, it's been one of the lowest income years I've had. Part of that was because I didn't really have anything I felt like was worth pursuing. For some reason, it just wasn't enough. So I was suffering greatly this year, not making money. I would rather suffer in the pursuit of building a business that's highly successful, that lifts other people up, and, whatever happens, happens. I'm trying to keep that mindset of like, don't say it's okay if I don't make 2,000,000, because then I'll allow myself to slip again. Um, so, but also, if it comes down to it and I don't make 2,000,000, but I'm still in business, like, success.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the positive version of it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Not the, like, suffering is inevitable.
yeah. Also, there's a lot of negative voices out there, and, there's a lot of things that I don't like in the world. There are things that I think are wrong, there are things that I think are bad. I just feel like what I have to give to the world is a more positive perspective, and I don't have to be everything for everyone. So I don't need to repeat the negative news cycle every day. I don't need to, like, that. There's a lot of that out there. So my like, people that know me know what I hate. I just don't share a lot of that online, because it's like, you look at the landscape and go, cool. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of doom and gloom. There's a lot of, yeah, stuff out there that I don't think necessarily need to add to that voice. But I do think there's a lack of, like, genuine, you can improve. I mean, there's a lot of self-help stuff out there, but I'm trying to come at it from like my own lived experience of like, it is nicer to have money than to have no money. You live a better life. And yeah, anyways, I'm kind of going on my own little rant here, but I want to be that positive voice out there.
It's cool. You did mention, though, like, you did mention burnout. Like, is burnout something you've experienced? Is it something you've been feeling at the start of the year? Like, you have
Burn-
thoughts on that?
Burnout is not I wouldn't say that's what I felt this year. I just felt so many, like, I mean, I fell into like some serious depression, just like hard to get out of bed. So that's its own beast. I have felt burnout. I felt burnout when I'm not making much money as a freelancer, from taking on bad clients and working ridiculous hours on scope creep and not being able to put my foot down, and, you know, getting paid pennies. I've gotten burnt out on working, getting paid really well. Like, the money part doesn't seem to affect burnout to me. Um, in my first 200K year, I experienced burnout 1 week. It was the worst week of my career. I have a note in my phone. It has a lot of expletives, where I just was like, "What in the are you doing? I hate this so much. Never do this again." But it was like, I took on too many projects, and everybody needed something at the same time, and my computers weren't working. I was running projects on 2 computers. It was just like insanity, sleeping 4 hours a night for like 7 days. So yeah, massive burnout in like a really short period of time. But it's like I crossed the line. I was like, okay, I redlined. I need to like chill and be way more thoughtful about what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to.
Yeah, I mean that's
It's
that's
a
the
it's a balancing act, right? Like there
yeah.
is no such thing as pure infinite balance. There will always be things shifting and changing, and you have to like be okay sometime at some period. Like, cool, this is going to be tough, but it's only 1 month, and then I can chill. So, yeah, that's how I kind of approach burnout. But I also am like, anyways, it's funny because I think I see burnout in people who are highly successful and who are, let's call it, just like not as successful as they would like to be yet.
Yeah, I mean, I see burnout as just a period of prolonged stress.
Yeah.
And that can be from not having enough money. It
Mhm.
can be from having too much money and too much responsibilities and too much work. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like both ends of the scale.
Yep. Oh, I know someone who is retired and burnt out.
That's, yeah,
But it's
that's
that
impressive.
when you're right, when you're living in a constant state of low-lying stress, your baseline is like too stressful. I think some people just kind of naturally live in that. I'm naturally a pretty chill, procrastinating kind of guy. So like, when given the chance, I'm not about to burn out. That may sound counterintuitive based on my big revenue goals that I've had, but like, yeah, I'm not it's funny. I like working, but I don't think I'm a workaholic. This summer we've been house sitting and there's a pool out here. So I've been taking like 2-hour lunch breaks to swim and, just like chill. So like,
That's interesting because I would have assumed that you are a bit of a workaholic just with the ambitious goals, but
yeah,
it's probably the reason that you don't live in a period of burnout. Like, you know when to like take a break and enjoy life and go for a nice meal, like you said, and
yep.
and do the things and kind of not hyper focus on things.
I really like something that this guy Ramit Sethi says about like living a rich life. That's kind of his thing is live your rich life. And yeah, he emphasizes the point of like, don't just do things and buy things because it's what you think you should be doing, or that's what should buy a nice house when you have this kind of career, or this car, or that fancy whatever. It's like, what do you actually value yourself? For him, he's like, when I fly more than 4 hours, he's like a multimillionaire. When I fly more than 4 hours, I buy a business class flight. That's what I like. I like to stay in a nice hotel. I like to travel, and I like to eat good food, but I don't have many things. I drive a 10-year-old Honda Civic. It's like, choose what you want to spend your money on and don't just mindlessly run out of money all the time. And I kind of like that idea, that concept of, designing your life and being conscientious about it.
So you mentioned your new program. I'm going to make you uncomfortable. Like, tell us about your new cohort then. Sell it to
us. That's such a great segue. Yeah, the coaching program I have it's a 5-week program where we take, I'll say the ideal person to go through it has been freelancing for a bit and feels like they've been lucky and they've kind of been winging it. And for years, things have kind of been working, but maybe it's slowing down and there's ups and downs and you want more stability. And what I like to do is do that total mix of, it's basically 50% structure for your business and 50% encouragement to keep going. And it's currently we have small groups, like 12 people. And I've always been surprised. Every time we get to the end, I ask people, what did you get the most out of this? And they're like, man, like connecting with the people in the group was such a nice, surprising thing that I will carry with me going forward. So we do breakout rooms. We do a lot of, I'm obviously really big on networking. So like we do lots of networking inside of the group to get you, it's like the practice space when you're like, you don't want to just like get on a team and go play the championship game. So we have space for you to practice the skills that you are developing, communication skills, putting yourself out there, asking questions. That it's kind of the thing where I'm like, my coach is helping me get more comfortable doing things that are uncomfortable. And while I wish, and something, well, it's so funny. Sometimes when people go through the program, they're like, oh, like I give them a checklist. This is everything you should be doing every day, week, and month. And it's pretty standard for everybody. Some people will modify it a little bit based on their strategy. But some people are like, that checklist, that's all I need. Like, I don't need the motivation stuff. I'm good to go. They're just like kind of self-motivated. They just like, I just need to focus. And so that gives them the focus to like post on a regular basis, have some structure of how to post, how to make sure that they're putting themselves out there. Is their positioning strong? Are they connecting with the right kinds of people? And so the checklist is all they need. And other people are like, yeah, I kind of know what to do. I just need to like get past myself. And so, and even though my goal is to help people make money, I always ask, like, what's your goal? Why did you join? And those vary. I've never heard the same thing twice. It's like, my mom is sick and I need to support her, or I want to move country. I want to, I already make I've had people join who'd already make 200,000, and they just like feel like they've been lucky and they don't have a system. Like, what happens if my regular clients disappear? I wouldn't know how to start over. So it's quite a range of reasons that people join and what they actually get out of it. And we've had people join who are full-timers and want to go freelance. One of our most successful students went from a full-time job to freelance within 3 months. And then her first year of freelance, she made 200,000. That's like, it's unusual, but she stuck, like, just absolutely never skipped a day and just stuck with the system. And it was like, that's freaking awesome. I love it. So anyways, that's me just kind of talking about the program. I have a system inside of it. I don't like selling, but I like getting people in the program and helping them.
Does it have a name?
It has a name. It's the 200K program.
Cool. Yeah. And like, have you got big plans to kind of ramp this up? Like, are you going to be doing more content, starting a podcast, a YouTube channel? I don't know what you already do.
I have not developed the strategy specifically yet, but that is something I'm working on internally with my wife, with my coach. Part of what I understand to be good strategy is how do you separate yourself from competition such that no one actually feels like competition. And it's like, where is that blue ocean strategy? What is the thing that I do that no one else provides? It's easy to look at several, coaching spaces. There's lots and lots of like online coaches, but there's fewer for freelancers. There's fewer for motion design freelancers. And so is it the niche? Is it that I focus on networking? Is it because I've personally done it and made $200,000 3 times? Like, what, it's a work in progress. I think that I've already upped my content on LinkedIn. I went from sort of once a week to once a day or once a weekday. And I've had a lot of success in terms of, increased engagement, increased followers, increased conversations. I had my most viral post on LinkedIn, and it was a Google Doc, like a Google Chrome Doc pro tip, and the Google Workspace account commented on it. And so the algorithm was like, whoa, people love this, because they have like 900,000 followers.
Yeah.
So that got almost 50,000 impressions, which I was like, oh, that's hilarious. That like my best performing post was just like a little pro tip about Chrome.
Yeah, I'll double down on that. You can be the Chrome guy.
Right? I know.
Route to 2 million right there.
I don't know if you know Nick, the guy who's doing the toilet, Nick Greenewalt. He's got a toilet that he's been doing projection mapping on, and that blew up on TikTok and Instagram and stuff. So now he's selling ads on his toilet. They're always hilarious. They're very funny.
Yeah, I think I'd seen this actually.
Clever guy. But yeah, he's like, his whole shtick is making $1 million from my toilet. And he's like an unemployed guy making $1 million from my toilet. So when I announced my $2 million goal, he was like, I know how you need to do it. Just buy 2 toilets. You know, we all have our different angles for making money.
Mm-hmm. Normally on this podcast, I normally chat to people about AI because it's kind of a hot topic, especially in the creative industry.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, I've mentioned it to you a few months ago and you were saying that you don't really use it. I was wondering if that had changed, if you have any views on it.
So I've been using it more internally, like as a way to build, either brainstorm. My main tool that I've used is just Claude. I've never really, I dabbled in Midjourney a couple of years ago. That's like the extent of the creative side of things. But I've been seeing more and more people like Jake Bartlett sharing how he's using AI to either build plugins for After Effects, or now After Effects itself has tools that help you, inside of After Effects, like build stuff. I have talked to, I've talked with a ton of people who are using AI extensively in their business, whether it's, to help them with their bookkeeping or stay organized with their projects or their outreach, or, it's people are kind of finding their own way. But most people that I've seen who are very thoughtfully putting together great AI solutions for themselves feel unwilling to talk about it in public because of how much backlash there is. And it is fascinating to me. And since I don't use AI in a creative, like I'm not using generative AI at all. I don't even feel like what I'm using AI for is worth sharing yet, because I'm still trying to figure that out. But I do find it to be an extremely helpful tool for whether it's brainstorming, or I built like I took a screenshot of a calendar and put it in Claude and said, hey, can you write HTML code to give me a HTML calendar that looks kind of like this? And it was like, bloop, pretty much ready. I had to just do a couple little things, and then it wasn't like changing down to a mobile size. So I just said, can you make this mobile friendly? And it did it. And it's just like, that's insane. I totally would not have even tried to do this on my own, but now I can do a thing. And yeah, to me, it is, there are some who are, all in on the AI train, AI or bust. And there are the extremes on the other end that are like never AI. And I feel like there's so much nuance in the middle that gets lost in between all of that. And I think that's where a lot of people are just kind of like, cool, I'm just going to figure it out, and not necessarily share it on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Like, I think like there's like those, I see it's like 80% of people in the middle, like the moderate middle.
Yeah.
And then there's the 10% that are like, no AI, never. And they comment on everything if anyone mentions something about AI. And then there's the AI bros that AI is the solution for everything. Mm-hmm. But I think there is a lot of like opportunity in the creative operations. And I've done a few podcasts with people that are like using it and how they've set up their team and just automating the shit out of everything, basically. Yeah. And like, I imagine it'd be like so useful for you, just like the operations side of like, managing a cohort, like, and building websites and things. But I mean, the creative side's much more controversial. But to be honest, I use both. I use it in client work. And I do things for clients now that just wouldn't be possible without it. Like, we're doing an AI shoot, like the budget was never there to hire a photographer and the stylist and the lighting, etc., etc., etc. So we did things that weren't possible before. But there is a lot of heat. You do get heat. But, totally. I'm sure you get a lot of heat.
I've gotten more heat for Project 2 Million than I did project 200K.
Really?
Yeah. And more support.
Mm.
I do. You mentioned earlier, like they're pretty sticky ideas. Like, oh, project 200,000. Freelancer wants to. Oh, I want to pay attention to that. I want to see. Like, I hope you can, or maybe whatever. Like, it grabs your attention, and that's part of why I called it that. That's part of why I even wanted to share it at all. Is I was like, cool, that's good marketing. Um, I was talking with some friends of mine, and I'd never heard this wrestling term before, the heel. And I guess a heel is when you have the protagonist, the villain, and they come in and they do the bad thing. And then you got the hero that comes in and like saves the day, and they're like the one that everybody wants to root for. And I was like, sometimes I feel like a heel because I'm the one out here like saying big numbers, and it's just like it roused that like loud annoyed group a bit. Um, but then my friends were like, no, 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 you're the like teddy bear, nice guy. You're not the heel at all. What did they referred to me as like John Cena giving a hug to a kid who needed it or something, and I'm like, that's nice to hear because you never know how you are being perceived by most people because you're just not going to hear that. And anyways, yeah, it's a funny thing to both. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I think a lot of creatives are, which that gets us in trouble. But yeah.
Cool. It's been great chatting to you. I kept you about around an hour now. I'd like to ask you one more question.
Great.
I mean, like, what do you think what becomes possible at 2 million that 200K didn't? Like,
Yeah.
that's for both you and for your students and communities that are watching.
Yeah. Several things. There's the practical stuff that's like, cool, I would love to travel around the US or the world and do in-person workshops. And I don't know how profitable those will be because it's like you got to have a space. Like right now, I'm doing things on Zoom, and so it's like high margins. But I love in-person things, so that would allow me to have more budget to do things that are less feasible when everything has to be super profitable. So that's one thing. Giving out more scholarships is another thing. In fact, I have a friend who, he's in a tough spot and wants to do training to transition his career. And I'm like, man, I really wish I could afford to just like pay for that training that you want to do. And so there's the giving kinds of things. There's when you have money, you can impact bigger things. And even thinking about just business sizes, like a $2 million business is still a very small business. I think 50 million is still considered a small business. It's like, it's funny. I'm trying to like stick to your question, but then I keep not.
You can go on a tangent. It's fine.
So, School of Motion is not a public company, so I don't know how much they make, but I know they have lots of employees, and they've had bigger sets of employees and smaller, and they're on a constant change. Like every company is always trying to figure it out. As freelancers have had to figure out how do I work in this changing market. Every business is always changing. And so like seeing something like School of Motion they're sponsoring like Dash Bash, and they're sponsoring things like putting on a party at NAB, and they get to gather people, and it's like, you don't have to pay, but like beers are on us. There's just all sorts of things that you can do when you have resources like that. And it's like, I just want to play in that game, instead of just being like, hey, I'll grab your beer for one person. I want to grab beer for everybody, on the house. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. 2 million opens up a lot of opportunities. Ryan Summers has come in to do demo reel reviews for everybody who's gone through my program, and that's fantastic. He's been very generous to just like do them because he's like, cool, I love doing this, but like I want to be able to bring in experts and not feel like I'm just asking people to do things for free. And yeah, when you're just making a living, it's hard to have money to invest in bigger things. So yeah, it tends to basically be, well, there's the save for retirement for my family, and then there's the what kind of impact can I have on the people that I really want to have an impact on. And for me right now, that's the independent creative, whether you're an editor, a designer, motion designer, VFX, you know, but we're out here and it's hard. So yeah, that's where I want to make an impact. I do, as you've probably noticed, I do not know how to say a succinct freaking answer. But I think I'm trying not to be mean to myself, like I've mentioned before. That's the way I am, and I think some people appreciate it. I would love to develop the skill to give like a witty, quick answer, but that's not me right now.
Yeah. No, it's been great, man. It's been really good. Like you shared, like been really transparent as you always are, and I think everyone appreciates that. Like you help people like be a little bit more ambitious. You might get heat for setting these ambitious goals, but I think underlying it, like you've mentioned so many times how you like want to help people, and it's about building a lifestyle for yourself and your family, and they're all great goals to have. And you're also really great at marketing. This 2 million people, 2 million goal people want to watch and see how it develops.
Sweet. Well, I appreciate you having me on here. This is really cool. Can I plug a couple things?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I should have
if anybody wants to reach out to me, find me on LinkedIn. My name is Austin Saylor. That's kind of like where I hang out. And I have a newsletter where I share tips about making more money. It's the 200K freelancer newsletter, which I just realized recently, I don't have a link to that on my LinkedIn. How silly. So I'll be changing that. By the time you hear this, that will be a link on my LinkedIn. And yeah, of course I have like my coaching program that I don't like selling, but I love coaching. I was like, if I could just sit here and like coach people all day, I would do that. But you know, that's part of the business side of things. And that's what I try to help my freelancers with is like, yes, it would be nice to just sit there and animate cool stuff all day, but we also need to run our business so we don't run out of business.
Excellent. And when is the new cohort going live? Is it live already, or?
I have another cohort starting on October 6th.
That is, what month is it now?
It's August. So it's like a month and maybe like 5 or 6 weeks from now.
5 to 6 weeks here. You heard it here first. So
yeah,
reach out to Austin, join.
We'd love it.
Okay, man. Thanks for this. I think we'll wrap it there.